What is up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Logan, aka the Army Vet Trucker. If it's your first time here, I am an extra board line haul truck driver for a company called ABF Freight. Today we are in Dallas at our home terminal and we're heading out now. I'm going down to the Rio Grande Valley down in towards McAllen, Texas, but before we do that, we're going to Houston first. So this is kind of an odd run for me. I've never really done it like this before. I've been to Houston, obviously, plenty of times. I've been to the Valley plenty of times, but I've never been to the Valley via Houston. So we're gonna go to Houston first. We've got a set of doubles. Another cool thing today, I guess, or whatever you, maybe not cool is the right word for it, but interesting, I guess, is I've got double explosives today. So that's a first for me as well. I've had explosives before, but never double, and it's not anything crazy, guys. It's just fireworks. But I mean, shoot, man, some of the biggest industrial disasters in history are fireworks. So I mean, hey, that's a bright thing to lighten up your mood, right? So anyways, like I said, we're going down to the Valley via Houston. We're heading down to Houston right now, just leaving Dallas, and I'm out here. I'm gonna take the hazmat route, obviously, because explosives and all that. So I'm not gonna go through downtown Dallas. I'm gonna go over here to Loop 12, head south down to 20, and then we'll go 20 all the way over to 45 south. And that's our hazmat route out of there. It's obviously a lot faster just to go through downtown Dallas, but I definitely wouldn't be wanting to risk it today with what I got. But anyways, today it's kind of going to be an interesting video, I think, because I'm going to elaborate a little bit on what's going on in the world of ABF right now. And if you don't know, then our contract is up for well, it's expiring. Our current master freight agreement with the company is expiring on June 30th, and we are voting on it this coming week. It's Saturday right now. It's June, I don't know, 16th, I think. And let me see, 17th, June 17th today. And so we're gonna vote on it this coming up week, starting on Monday. I think maybe even Sunday. I think they have a special meeting on Sunday, but I'll have to double check. But anyways, this week we're voting on it. And there's some good stuff in there, I think, and some bad stuff, and we'll probably dig into it a little bit. Not too crazy now. I mean, I know a lot of you guys, I'm not sure how much y'all care about it, but there is some pay changes and some other interesting stuff, and I'll probably get into that a little bit more here later in the video. But with that being said, I am going to get up on the highway here on Loop 12, and I'll catch back up with y'all here in a little bit. Just like that, here we are in old Houston, old H-Town, and boy, do we have some work cut out for us now. So I already got in here and went inside, punched the clock and everything, and I've been just trying to sit here and formulate a plan on what we got to do. So we're here in Houston. Our next destination is down in the Valley, down McAllen, and we're taking empties down there. So they're not strung up. There's a couple sets here that are probably going back up to Dallas. They're loaded, that are pre-strung. And not to get too deep into the weeds here, but empties, they don't have to pre-string for us, but that really doesn't matter in Houston because usually they don't pre-string them on the weekends anyway. If you get loaded trailers, they have to pre-string them on Friday, but they can't do that if they don't have gears. And right now, Houston, there's one gear back over there by the shop, but I figure there's a reason it's over there by the shop, so it's probably not good. Therefore, they don't have any gears available. Empty. They didn't have any on Friday, so they couldn't pre-string sets. They probably used them all on the sets that have already left. Anyways, we got empties. There's no gears available, and I haven't found the empties yet. I've looped around looking for them. They're probably over here on the other side of the building, but I didn't want to get stuck back there with the set. So, long story short, what we're going to have to do is drop this set, probably grab our dolly that we brought down from Dallas, the converter dolly, and then use that dolly to build our set of empties. Meanwhile, I want to go into the wash bay and rinse off my glass and stuff, and then I also want to fuel. This truck only had 7/8 of a tank leaving Dallas. They've got a bad habit of not filling them all the way up, so now I'm down to 3/4, and there's fuel here, and I'd rather get fuel here than have to get fuel tomorrow coming back from the valley up to Dallas. So that's enough jabbering. I guess let's get to it. I think I've got a good plan. I'm gonna first thing I'm gonna do is pull over here and drop this back box, and then get the converter dolly out from under it. That's the fuel bay right there. I'm not even sure if it works. I've never fueled here in Houston. Usually you'd never need to because we got fuel in Dallas, and most of the time Houston for us in Dallas is just a turn. So you guys can see it's only Saturday right now, and that's the inbound line right there. That's normally where we would want to drop inbound sets, but I'd say it's kind of full. If I dropped it over there on the other end, I'd be blocking the pass through, so I'm not gonna do that. But you guys should see how this place turns out on Sunday night. There, you won't even be able to, I mean, I'm sure somebody's gonna wind up dropping a set over there. It's just a matter of time. And then, you know, I feel for the guys that work the Monday morning shift fixing this yard. Wait a minute. Doing that in the wrong order. Let's leave that for a second. I want to drop this one first. So where's my air valve? This one's a newer one. Where's that? Oh, that's right. I don't think it has one. Hold on here, guys. I'm having a brain fart. I know this one has a handbrake. I think all I have to do is push it, and that'll release the brakes. But I have to disconnect the air and everything, so these guys look at this handle they put on here. There's no way it doesn't even fit into the holder. Alright, that's that. I'm gonna do this. This, this, do this, do this, do this, do this. You there. Come on now. Come on now. Ugh. There we go. All right. So that should be all we have to do. I don't think on these newer ones, honestly, these gears have been around for a long time, but I've never personally been in the situation where I have to use this stuff. I always get an older one that I have to dump the tank. All right, so now I'm just gonna drop that back box. Pull forward a little bit, and then I'm gonna drop that dolly. It's actually kind of nice having one that you don't have to dump the tanks. Now I don't have to worry about getting run over or running somebody else over. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while and seen me dealing with these dollies, you probably heard me talk about them. The older ones that don't have these brakes, I'm not a fan of them. I just don't think that they're particularly safe. But I mean, as long as you're careful and you do what you're supposed to do, you'll be all right. But mistakes happen. you can just kind of wheel it, and then if it starts getting away from you, all you have to do is lock that little handle out and it sets the brakes as long as it's still got air in the tanks. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go ahead and drop this trailer right here. That kind of signifies that they came in together when they're like this, and you should kind of put the context clues together and somebody can figure out what you did. By the way, guys, if y'all kind of notice a random cut in the video, just keep in mind it's like 98 degrees out here actual temperature, and the heat index is like 105, so my camera doesn't seem to like that. So I'm just gonna position this dolly, I'm gonna swivel it so that it's easier to connect to my tractor. That's nice. All right, now I'm gonna drop this pup here, grab that dolly. I'm probably gonna pull in there to the wash bay. Give the old tractor a rinse down, kind of needs it. Oh, I'm used to on the Max, the way you adjust the steering wheel, it's a pedal on the floor. It's kind of what I'm used to. Good enough. Alrighty. Let it settle a little bit. Now we're hooked. I don't need to raise this all the way. Fasten these. I'll go around. Alrighty. Now, like I said, I'm gonna go in here and give the tractor a whole wash down, rinse down, whatever you want to call it. And then after that, I am going to go over to the fuel bay and fuel her up. But I'm gonna let the camera have a break, cool off for a minute, and I'll catch back up with you guys once I find my outbound empties. Man, I could not get this fuel pump to work, man. I don't know what the deal with it is. I tried to figure it out for a few minutes and I just gave up, man. This thing is, it's either busted or dry, doesn't have any fuel in the tank, or maybe it was a little bit of operator error, but all of our fuel pumps work the same. You just scan your badge and turn the pump on and it's supposed to go. Excuse me. And it didn't want to go. It sounded like it was trying to prime and then it just cut off. So I don't know, man. So we'll just have to roll with 3/4 of a tank to the valley, and we'll probably have about half when we get there or something. We'll just have to get fuel at a truck stop tomorrow. There's a place I like to stop in on the way back to Dallas, because I don't go 35. Well, 77, then 37, then 35. I don't go that way. I go the back way, 77, pretty much the whole way up to Waco, and then 35. But there's a truck stop in Schulenburg, right where 77 crosses under I-10, and that's a good spot. I stop there a lot to get fuel. Okay, anyways, now we're on the hunt for our trailers. I'm looking for 250 and 572. Now, I suspect that they're over here. There's 250. Yep. All right. Make sure 552, 250, 552, 250. So that's my lead right there. So now I just need to find 572. There it is right there. 553, 572, 553, 572. Okay, so I'm not going to be stringing the set right here where that's at. That's kind of unfortunate. So I'm going to have to swing around, drop the dolly, hook to that trailer, stage it out here, and back the dolly up to it, and then grab that lead. So we got some work to do. Let's do it. A little yank so I don't have to squeeze between trailers to crank the gear up. One thing I learned about this place too is to check your trailers before you string them, because you'll cause yourself a lot of extra work. So I'm just going to look for any obvious issues right now. Plug her all in, give it air, and that way if it's leaking or something I can find that out before I do all the work. Come on now. Ah, damn it. There we go. Looks like our lights are good. Let's check the ABS. Good. Good. Make sure it's an empty. It's got sleds in it. I'm sure that's by design. These are those sleds that they use in Kansas City and Salt Lake now. They've patented this system where these sleds have wheels and they use a forklift attachment to put it in and out. But basically all it does is just, instead of loading the freight directly into the trailer with a forklift, you load the freight onto that sled in a warehouse, and then once all the freight's on the sled, then you use your attachment and push it all loaded directly into the trailer, and it just slides right in. Theoretically, a lot of guys, oops, you guys didn't see that. A lot of guys don't like that system because it's not as easy as it sounds. Apparently it's got a lot of issues they catch, and these sleds, they work great at the terminals. I'm just gonna do it right there. They work great at the terminals that are designed for the sleds that are actually warehouses, but most of our terminals are like this, like dock style, where the freight's intended to be loaded. Now I might have screwed myself. I think I can crank it because where I put the dolly. But I mean, you guys can see the layout. I mean, there's freight all up in there. There's some sleds right there off to the right where you can kind of see. I don't know if it might be too dark for y'all to be able to see in there, but long story short, in the terminals that are designed as dock terminals like this one, you pull those sleds out, and now they're just in the way. And whereas those warehouses, the new ones, they're huge. They're just like huge warehouse style terminals that have designated areas. Like they have streets where the forklifts go, and then they have designated areas, like little squares, where the sleds get loaded based on where they're going. And like I said, it works great for those, but for these terminals, it's not so much. Let's see if there's another line haul driver here. I'm just gonna back this trailer up, right up in here somewhere. Try to get it as straight as possible. That ought to be good. Now let's go get our lead. $250. Well, actually, I need to stage this dolly in front of the rear pup first. Found it. Oh! Oops. Throw these chains up here for now, just moving it a few feet. Sorry about that cut. Camera overheated and I kind of kept working with it, and so the dolly's staged there between, in front of, behind, between. I'm just making up words now. It's hot out here. It's good. I'm just gonna grab this front pup now. 250, 552, 250. Do the same thing with it. Grab it and yank it forward a little bit. Make sure it's good, and then we're almost done here. Some of you guys in the comments might chime in and educate me about how bad that is for the brakes to do that, and yada 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 and yada yada. You guys do what you gotta do. Let me know. Make sure I'm educated. Let's see if it changes anything. ABS is good. Right there. Tires look good. Good. Shimmy on through here. Lights are good. Open. Yeah, this one's got them in there too. These are a little bit newer and nicer. They must have some freight down there in the valley that's going up to either Kansas City or Salt Lake City, and they want it to be on those sleds for one reason or another. I'll have to ride up the seal. Seal's all jacked up. Tires look good. Look good. All right. Should be good. Yeah, for those of y'all that aren't from down here in Texas, man, we're feeling the heat. Humidity has been crazy. It's like 70-80% humidity and 90 something degrees makes the heat index or the feels like temperature, whatever you want to call it, makes it crazy. I think it's like 110 or 108 today is the heat index. Nice and toasty. The other driver that pulled up, he probably already is gone. He probably already had his set ready to roll. Either that or he went to the hotel. We have drivers that go to bed here. They come down from, I think it's Kansas City or maybe I think it's Little Rock actually, Little Rock. They come down from Little Rock and go to bed here and then go back the next day. You guys know my glove trick that I used back in the day? Yeah, well, I just kind of bump into it now. It doesn't do any harm and saves my glove from getting run over or whatever. Almost hooked it itself. Handle's all jacked up and I got grease all over this fucking thing. Alrighty. That's that. Alrighty. Final stretch now. Alright, let's double check the whole thing. Okay, we're good there. I know the gear's good. Double check all our lights. Got brake lights, turn signals. Brake lights, turn signals. Alrighty. All right, that is that. Phew. That was pretty fun, huh? Man, I regret moving down to Texas sometimes, man. Sometimes I think we should have stayed in Colorado after I got out of the Army and just worked out of Denver, but then you'd have to deal with the snow there, so, you know, tit for tat. Yeah, I don't see that other line haul driver here anymore. Somebody out there by the door, by the gate. Well, all right, here we are. I just pulled up here and was literally about to go inside, punch the clock, and get the heck out of here. And I get a call from dispatch. And guess what they just freaking told me, guys? Holy crap. Gotta be patient sometimes, all right? That's what trucking's all about. You know, things are gonna happen and it's gonna test you, and, you know, let's just leave it at that. But what basically happened was they told me that these trailers cannot go down to the valley because they have those sleds in them. I guess, you know, if I want to take it in any sort of way, I'll take it as my bad. You know, it's probably more my fault. You know, I could have seen that first trailer that had a sled in it and realized it's going to a small end-of-line satellite terminal and called dispatch like, hey, you sure you want me to bring this shit? It's got a dang sled in it. And they would have said no. But here we are, I'm all strung up. Then they call me. At least I didn't get out on the road and have to turn around. So I'm gonna have to break this set back down, grab that dolly, find 2 actual empties and string them back up. But I'm gonna leave you guys here. I'm not gonna record any of it because it slows things down and it's hot enough already. So next time I'll catch up with you guys, I'm gonna be on the way down to the valley as long as I still have time to do it. So I've got 6:45 left on my shift time, and it's about a 5-hour drive down there. So I'm gonna knock this out and I'll catch back up with y'all here in a little bit. Today has been a freaking roller coaster, man. Holy crap. You know, sometimes I'd say 80% of the time all my runs go perfectly fine, normal, nothing crazy happens. But I don't know what it is about this camera, but as soon as I get it going, just whatever day, it could be a normal run, nothing crazy, and then as soon as I get the camera going, man, it goes crazy. So I think the last time I talked to you guys, I was in Houston still, and I was gonna redo my trailers because we had issues with the sleds that were in those empties, so I had to switch them around. Well, that took me another 2 hours to knock that out, and so I left Houston and was heading towards the Valley, McAllen area, Brownsville, and I was almost to Corpus, about 20-30 minutes out of Corpus, and I got a phone call from my National Guard unit, and we are getting activated for emergency response for these storms that are happening. If you don't know, the last few days have been kind of crazy. Oklahoma, Texas, pretty bad tornado up in North Texas in the Panhandle, and I guess northeast Texas and East Texas has been getting hit by kind of hard. I don't think there's any major tornadoes, just really strong storms. And I guess a lot of people are without power, and they're not expected to get power back anytime soon. So they're calling us up. We're going to head over there tomorrow and distribute any aid, food, water, whatever else is needed to the people in need over there in East Texas. So with that being said, I'm supposed to report to my armory at 8 in the morning tomorrow, and shoot, it's 7 p.m. here now, and I'm not going to the Valley anymore. So this is just kind of a testament to how military friendly ABF is. Obviously, every company has an obligation to release reservists and guardsmen in the event of them being called up, but any company can just fulfill their obligation, but it takes pretty good initiative or what, I don't know what you want to call it, but ABF goes above and beyond. So for example, today I was heading down to the Valley, got the call that we're getting activated, and I need to be there tomorrow at 8, and I talked to my dispatcher, and I told him about it, and my plan was to just let's see, what was the plan? I was gonna turn around, get on 37, which is where I'm at now, get up to San Antonio, go to bed in San Antonio, because look at my hours. I mean, you can see where I'm at right now with that. I don't have time to do much else other than go to San Antonio and go to bed. But so I was gonna go to bed in San Antonio for my rest, 10 hours, and then wake up and go to Dallas right after my rest. But that wouldn't put me there until like noon or something. And they really wanted me there at 8. So what they allowed me to do, we kind of brainstormed a little bit, and what I'm gonna wind up doing is dropping off these empties in San Antonio, go off duty, and I'm gonna go into personal conveyance and just bobtail the tractor back up to Dallas. But anyways, long story short, like I said, I'm just gonna drop these trailers in San Antonio and bobtail back to Dallas on personal conveyance. And the personal conveyance rule with our DOT hours is one of those things that's kind of like, a lot of people have a bunch of different ideas about what you can and can't do about personal conveyance, and a lot of people got the wrong idea, thinking that they can do something that they can't do, and then a lot of people think that there's things that they can't do that they actually can do. And I'm not going to really dig into it too much, and that's going to be what happens tonight with me, and it is what it is. The way I see it, man, like DOT regulations and everything like that, hours of service, that's all FMCSA and DOT regulations, and I'm getting called to duty by the military, the National Guard, and as far as I'm concerned, military orders trump any sort of hours of service. So I'm going to do my best to stay in compliance and do the right thing. But as far as that goes, as personal conveyance, as far as I'm aware, as long as you're not forwarding freight, you're not doing anything in a benefit of yourself, if you're an owner operator, like monetarily, and if you're a company driver, you're not doing anything in benefit of your company. You're not forwarding, even with empties. If I'm driving with empties, moving them from one terminal to another, that's not, you can't PC that. That's you're benefiting your company. But I'm moving from a terminal back to my home and bobtail, no freight. So you guys can chime in the comments below and let me know if that's technically a no-no or what, or how you interpret that personal conveyance rule. But I'm just letting you know right now that's what's going to happen, though, regardless. So if any DOT officer, I mean, shoot, man, when I was down at the border with Operation Lone Star, half these troopers that are out here on the highway, I was down there on the border with them when they, because it was a state mission, and all the state police and DOT was all down there on the border enforcing, you know, immigration and everything. So I don't know, man. That's just the way it is with that. But anyways, to get back on track with what we were originally supposed to be talking about today in this video, with the contract. So I don't think I'm going to be, now with the circumstances today, I'm not going to be able to go really in depth with it as much as I wanted to, but in a nutshell, like I mentioned earlier, our contract is expiring. It's up on June 30th, and we're voting this week on this new proposed contract that is out, and it's probably, you know, the master freight agreement I think is like 35 pages, and our supplemental southern region agreement is like 8 pages or something. So I definitely don't have time to dig into it on this YouTube video, but in a nutshell, I like it. It's for my situation, it's a good contract. As a road driver, we in the southern region, we have a lot of good things down here in the southern region in our supplemental agreement, and they haven't really changed too much about it. And in the master agreement, they haven't changed too much there either, as far as major things like our pension and our health care. The main things that everybody wants to know about is the change in pay. And I know I made a video like 6 months, 8 months ago about pay, and I didn't really go into too much detail, but just to get it out there, our current pay rate that we've been at for you know, the last 5 years, last contract, it's been about 67 cents a mile and about 27 bucks an hour. And as a road driver, I get paid by the mile. So I mean, you can do the math there. My gross just off miles, you know, if I get 2,500 miles in a week or 3,000 miles in a week, which is pretty normal, about 2,500, pretty easy to get. I mean, you can do the math there and figure out my gross, what I make. And our mileage with this new proposal is going to go up to 76 cents a mile, and I think the hourly is going up $3.50, so that's 26, 27, 28, 29. I think it's right there, 29, 30 bucks an hour. And you know, there's two sides to this thing, and there are a lot of employees that work at ABF that are on hourly pay. And to be honest, you know, I can understand completely from those guys' perspective. They wanted more money. You know, they were really wanting to get at least $5 with this contract, and a lot of guys are upset with this $3.50 an hour. And so, you know, I could definitely understand. You know, I'm going to vote in my interest. I'm not going to be voting no because it's going to help somebody else, you know, or whatever. I'm purely in my own opinion. That's how you're supposed to vote. And I'm not going to try to influence. If you guys are working at ABF, you should vote off of what your personal opinion is on the contract. Read it all through and get your opinion in on how you feel about it, and it is strictly your decision on how you vote. You know, don't let anybody else influence how you feel about this thing. But I do know for a fact there are more employees at ABF that work hourly than mile. Road drivers are outnumbered. So even if every single road driver votes yes on this contract, and every single hourly employee, mechanics, hostlers, city drivers, if they all vote no, it's not going to get ratified, and it's going to have to go back to the table. So, but yeah, no, as far as the contract goes, I like it. You know, it's good for me. We already got paid pretty decent, in my opinion, with our total compensation with the health care and everything. I mean, I was pretty comfortable. You know, I've been ABF. I've been really comfortable. I consider myself to be very blessed and fortunate to be working for this company, how young I am, and the situation that I am that I came into, and you know, with this new contract, I mean, shoot, man, you guys can do the math on the difference. I already did the math, but I'm not going to get all into it on here. It's just, you know, the difference between 67 cents a mile and 76 cents a mile. You know, if you're running 3,000 mile weeks, that's like a 10 grand difference in a year. You know, to almost 11, I think. So I mean, that's substantial, and that's a good raise if you ask me. But I do also understand how these guys out there in the city are breaking their their backs, sweating in the weather, no air conditioning in these warehouses. They're working 8, 10, 12-hour days, and they're only getting, you know, a $3 raise. I get it. You know, I totally understand, and I don't have any sort of contention or what do you want to call it? I completely understand if you are an hourly employee at ABF and you want to vote no on this contract. I don't have any problem with that. If you want to ask for more money, then ask for it and see where it goes. But the one thing I do probably, I mean, I don't know this, but I can assume this. Not that I'm an expert by any means, but it's just how contracts go. You know, whenever you ask for more, you might get it, but they are going to try to take something in return. They're not just going to blindly give it to you. They might give you, if you didn't like $350 and you want $5, they might give you $5, but then they might tell you, okay, well, you got to start contributing to your health care. Okay, well, you got to start doing this. Okay, well, you can't do this and you can't do that now. And that's what scares me. Like right now with this current proposal, we're not really losing a lot. We're gaining money, and nothing else as far as, you know, in my position. I don't know how these other supplementals and the other regions are going. I haven't read those, but in the southern region and in the master freight agreement, in my situation, not a lot really changes. I know that one of the cool things that they're doing is they're turning the trucks up. We're not going to be slow 66 anymore. We're going to be able to go 70, and that's a cool thing too. I mean, you know, we get paid by the mile, so the faster we can get to where we're going, it's, you know, it's more efficient. But faster we can get to our hotel, faster we can get our 10-hour rest, and faster we can get back out on the road. So, but anyways, guys, that's what I think about it. You know, if you guys are working at ABF and you've read the contract and you've got opinions on it, feel free to drop a comment down below and let me know what you guys think about it. If you are for or against it, or if you guys are out working at other trucking companies, LTL companies, or you know, wherever, or not even a trucker or whatever, just let me know what your opinions on it are. You know, it's all available online if you guys want to look it up if you haven't yet. If you are a Teamster at ABF and you haven't read the contract yet, I mean, time is not in your favor. We've got like 3 days to vote on it, starting to, I think, tomorrow. And all your local unions will be set up with ballots and everything to take the votes, and so it's really important that if you are a Teamster, you get in there and vote, even if you are voting yes, I mean, or no, you know, whatever. It's just your vote does matter, and it'll go into the grand thing, and you know, it'll matter. So, but yeah, like if you guys haven't read it yet, it's all online. You can go in there and read it all, 35 pages of it, and then your regional supplemental agreement, you can read that too. It's all on there on the Teamsters website. So even if you're not a Teamster or not at ABF, and you're just, maybe you're yellow or UPS or whatever, and you want to look into how we got it over here, I think it's public information. You don't have to be, you know, log in or anything. You just look it up. So, but anyways, guys, I just wanted to chime on that a little bit, and you know, if we all vote, you know, it gets ratified and it comes into effect July 1st, you know, we'll get a nice pay raise, and you know, we'll go a little bit faster, and you know, other than that, nothing crazy. Let me just chime in on this too, because this is a huge thing. Real quick, one of the things that's been the bane of our existence at ABF it's called the so-called red circle, and it's real deep, and I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds, but it involves purchase transportation and when the company can use outside contractors to move our freight. And in the current contract that we're on right now, it was a crap agreement where they were allowed to, you know, the red circle, a certain amount of drivers in the top end of the seniority roster were in the red circle, and that protected them from being out of work because a contractor came in and hauled our freight. But if you're low enough seniority, like me, for sure, at the bottom of the roster, then you're not protected. You know, they can have you sitting at home, you know, waiting for a phone call, you know, haven't worked all week or whatever. You know, that's an extreme scenario, but you know, if you've just been sitting at home for a day or two, but you could be sitting at home for a day or two or whatever, and you know, waiting on a phone call, and then all of a sudden you go to the grocery store or whatever, and you see a non-ABF truck hauling a set of doubles down the highway leaving Dallas. You know, there's only one place where they would have came from, and that you could have been hauling that freight. and they can do it with the current contract that we're on now. And that's something that we took away a huge win on that red circle, getting it eliminated. And that's something that the company was wanting to come to the table, and they were wanting to do more PT, more purchase transportation. And we were able to, they were up to the very last day of that negotiating window trying to get more PT, and they fought it all the way to the end, and they eventually just gave it up at the last minute. And they're like, well, you know what, okay, you guys, whatever, we'll eliminate the red circle. So that's a huge win for us road drivers, where, you know, we're never going to have to worry about that anymore, where we're getting run around sitting at home while non-ABF, non-union drivers are getting our freight. So I think that's a huge win. But there's a lot of other stuff in there too, and like I said, if you guys haven't read it yet, or if you are interested and want to look into how things are here, like I said, it's public information. You can log on to the Teamsters website and look at it yourself and get in all the details. But like I said, in a nutshell, I think it's a good contract, and I'm probably going to vote yes for it. And if you guys want to argue about it in the comments, you know, feel free to give your opinions on it and how your stance on it. And if just keep it civil. You know, I'm not trying to get any sort of, you know, death threats or anything on this thing. It's not that serious. So just if you're gonna, you know, let us know your opinion. Try to be respectful and, you know, all that in the comments. But anyways, guys, all that being said, I rambled enough. I'm coming into San Antonio now. I'm gonna go into the terminal, drop these empties off, and I am going to fuel, and then I'm bobtailing back to Dallas. So with all that being said, I'll catch you guys here in a little bit. Alrighty guys, well, just like that, here we are back in Dallas. Got it all taken care of, and we're all done for the day. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna wrap it up here. You guys know what to do. If you enjoyed it, make sure you smash that like button. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, or feedback you'd like to offer up, feel free to drop a comment down below. And last but not least, if you're enjoying the type of content that I'm making, want to see more of it in the future, then feel free to smash that subscribe button. With all that being said, guys, I am clocking out. Gonna go figure out what I got to do tomorrow. Wish me the best of luck. The time this video comes out, it'll probably already be over with. So anyways, I'll catch y'all in the next one.